Among the documents of the case, the words of an old inhabitant had terrified everyone. He said that this stone has been very famous since his childhood, and it was considered a forbidden place for almost all townspeople, especially children. According to him, the secret of this rock was that it sacrifices a child every 10 years, and during this time, the villagers were very careful of their children to avoid being close to the stone. So the victims were mostly strangers who did not know the place. Is this just a superstitious thought of the past year's people or an unbelievable fact? Police decided to declare the area around the rock a no-go zone to prevent unforeseen events. The person who made these remarks was named Komaji, continued his speech by saying that this stone has a strange and scary story. When I was young, I heard this story vaguely from others. This story has been terrifying to me since my grandfather decided to let me know on Christmas Eve. He said that many years ago, a woman who named Mary lived in this town. But Mary had a secret that forced her to travel always, so she could only live anywhere for 1 or 2 years. It's been almost a year she lived here. Tom, a young man who was from the same village, he was a very simple-hearted guy. After meeting Marie, he fell in love with her. They were always in touch with each other, and even Tom knew when or where Mary was going and what she was doing. But he did not know how to express his interest to her. But on the other side, Mary was very worried about this situation. She was afraid of Tom would find out her secret, so she decided to leave the city soon. After packing her stuffs, she was going to another city over the weekend to get as far away from Tom as possible. But just the night before, doorbell rang. She opened the door. It was Tom, and again Mary was afraid. "If I can't help or do anything for you, it makes me happy," Tom said. Suddenly a sound comes from the bedroom. "What is it?" Tom said. He got inside the house. The sound was from bedroom. He approached the room slowly. The sound was getting louder and louder. Fear filled Tommy's whole being until he opened the door. He had never been so shocked in his life until that night. He saw a child looked more like a monster. "He's my child. My husband has left me for 6 years because of him," Mary said. She was crying. The little boy was born with a strange disease that made his face and voice very scary. So this had become Mary's eternal secret. At that moment, Tom ignored Mary. Even he did not listen to her because he thought the child was a devil and he wanted to save Mary from it. Tom thought he had captured Mary's soul and nestled in her body to protect himself. The next day he told everything he saw previous night to all the town people. After that, they went to Mary's house with their torches at night and took the child to the forest. A resident said the child should be killed. They have to throw her little boy into the fire. Mary did her best not to see such a thing, but could not do anything. And then the little poor scary boy burned alive in the fire and Mary lost her life of grief. From now on, the stone takes one victim every 10 years. Yes, this is the same stone that Emily's lifeless body was found on. These are all hypotheses, a vague hypothesis for the detective in the case. The case went unanswered for him until he decided to live in Colorado for a while. Will he solve this case or not? So join me to hear the rest of the story in the next episode.